It's working. I'm live. Wow. This is exciting. Let's see if I'm on. I always got to do a check. Got to do a Kiki check. Turn him off. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. Listening to yourself is so weird, right? All right, I'll give this a couple of minutes. I haven't had much to drink yet, so I'm gonna have a little sip of my sip, and I need a coaster. I told my producer, his name is Al. He's my pal, and thank goodness his name isn't Hal. Not that I know anyone named Hal, but his name's Al. I told him I need a coaster. I said, I need a coaster for this because it sweats. You know what I'm saying? Like when you have a drink with ice cubes in it, it sweats. I'm not really a sweater. Mark, good morning. No, the stream is not off. I'm just being weird. Mark, do your drinks sweat? I mean, I am not really a sweater. Never have been. But this summer, I was kind of a sweater. I sweat a bit. I don't know why. Body's changed. It's turned into a sweating institution. Not terrible, but yeah. But I definitely have a sweaty drink. Mm-hmm. All right. Are you ready? Are you ready, boy? Remember that song by Poison? Catch Me, I'm Falling. Yeah, Pretty Poison. Pretty Poison. Jade Starling. Love her. Anywho. Good morning. Today is Tuesday, September 28th of 2021. October 1st, believe it or not, is this Friday. I can't. So the mortgage is due. The rent is due this Friday. Don't forget, because someone will come a knocking on your door. And we are almost near Christmas time, the holiday season. That's crazy. October 1st is just a few days away. I really cannot believe it. Now, yesterday, I told you guys I was freezing. I said, I'm probably going to have my pants on all the time. Nope, I have shorts on this morning because it's muggy here in Rhode Island. Do you see what I mean? It's just going to go back and forth like this now until at least the beginning or the middle of November. And then we'll start to get a massive chill in the air all the time. And it won't be chilly. It'll be cold. It'll be really cold. So hopefully it is still nice wherever you are. I mean, the weather is perfect. It is absolutely beautiful. I am not complaining. It's just when you go back and forth from pants to shorts to sweatshirts. And then in the morning yesterday, I wore a sweatshirt. And then I had to take it off because I was so hot. And then I had a short sleeve shirt on. And then I went to shorts. That drives me crazy because you just can't get settled clothing wise. However, we need to get into our classic rock news because we have a lot to talk about today. On September 23rd of 1979, there was a concert by Muse, also known as Musicians United for Safe Energy. The activist group was put together by Jackson Browne, Graham Nash, Bonnie Raitt. Al hates the way I say her name. I say Bonnie Raitt. He's like, no, that's not how you say it. And then I say, well, how do you say it? And he says, it's Raitt. I said, well, that's how I said it, Bonnie Raitt. Harvey Wasserman and John Hall, and this group was originated to rally against the use of nuclear energy. Very good. This was around the time 3 Mile Island happened, and that was in March of '79. So Muse put together this amazing benefit concert, which was held at the Battery Park landfill in New York City. How can you have a concert on a landfill? But they did. Carly Simon, Shaka Khan, and the Doobies were among the many artists that were there that few days. And another huge artist who was also there and performed amazingly was the boss himself, Bruce Springsteen. Now, Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band broke out in '75 with their album Born to Run. And the following year, he wrote a ton of hit songs that other artists sang, including Fire for the Pointer Sisters and Blinded by the Light by Manfred Mann. So Bruce and the E Street Band were covering all their bases. They had just taken off after that Born to Run album. By the time they did this concert in 79 for 2 nights at Madison Square Garden, and the song that got on the No Nukes album from Bruce and the E Street Band was Stay, which was ironically not written by Bruce, but was most famously covered by Jackson Browne. Now, there is a No Nukes film that was released in May of 1980, but the relevance of what Bruce is releasing is never before seen footage from 10 performances and the E Street Band's entire set list. Special guests on this include Rosemary Butler, Jackson Browne, and the late Tom Petty. Tom Zimmy edited the film and knew a few years ago when he started watching all of this crazy, amazing footage that this was something special that needed to be released. And it comes out everywhere, and I mean everywhere, on November 19th. November, we got some good stuff coming. Steve Perry, ABBA, and Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band. I need a sip. I need it. Mark said sometimes his drink sweats. Or did he mean sometimes he sweats? Not sure. Bye-bye, Miss American Pie drove my Chevy to the levee and the levee was dry. I did not know what a levee was when I was 6. I just didn't, but it sounded good. And yes, I was singing American Pie when I was 6. I was. But now we have Google. I mean, I couldn't go to the library when I was 6 to look up what a levee was, nor did I want to because I was 6. I was worried about dolls, playing with things, and singing songs. Not that I was a good singer at 6. Probably better than I am now. Just saying. But I must say, it was the levee that helped bring Don McLean to the forefront with his major hit, American Pie. It has been 50 years since the song has been released, and Don is planning both a tour and a book to commemorate it. American Pie was inspired by the 1959 plane crash that killed the Big Bopper, Richie Valens, and Buddy Holly. The song spent 4 weeks at #1 in the U.S. starting on January 15th of 1972, and it entered the charts at number 69. Pretty impressive to enter the charts near the bottom and then just zoom up straight to the top. That's really good because, you know, a lot of times these songs, they hit #1 and they enter the charts really near the top, but that's pretty good. Don has 2 children, Wyatt and Jackie, and last year Don announced that he cut his daughter out of his will after she did a tell-all saying that she was mentally and physically abused by her father, which he denies wholeheartedly. Don has been married twice and is currently dating a 27-year-old model named Paris Dunn, and Don is 76. The Rolling Stones, they did their first big show without Charlie Watts in St. Louis on Sunday night. The show opened with no one on the stage. No one was at the drum kit, and pictures of Charlie rolling across a giant screen in the background were taking place. And then after the slideshow finished, Mick came on stage and told the fans how emotional it was to see the pictures of Charlie. And he let fans know that this was the first tour ever they have done without Charlie. So they are dedicating the entire No Filter tour to him. Steve Jordan is sitting in Charlie's seats, and he's been working alongside the Stones for decades, so he was definitely an obvious pick to put in Charlie's seat. The guys got great reviews from the show, with lots of critics saying how Mick has still got the moves, and Ronnie and Keith are sounding better than ever. Now, these are the Rolling Stones. They are living legends, but I do feel that it must be quite strange for them to be on that stage without Charlie, who passed away on August 24th. He was 80 years old. And, you know, it's kind of crazy, too, how people were criticizing the Stones for going on tour after Charlie had passed. But we have to remember and keep in mind that Charlie backed out of this tour because he was not doing well. So I'm sure Charlie is looking down and happy that they still continued to do this, because will the No Filter tour be the last tour for the Stones? Potentially. It could be. And, you know, people are happy to see them out there, so good for them. Good for them. And what a great life Charlie appears to have had. Good morning, Mr. Peter Baker. How are you today? How is Baker Street? I know I do it every time. I can't help it. Now I'm going to have the Jerry Rafferty song in my head for the entire day. Happens every time you pop on. I'm sorry. It's just, it is what it is. Did you guys know that David Lee Roth got booted from one band, but is bouncing right back to get it done on his own? Because that is how Mr. David Lee Roth rolls. If you have nothing planned for New Year's Eve yet, I don't. But maybe you shall consider heading to Vegas and going to the House of Blues to see Diamond Dave, as he will be putting on a limited engagement there starting on, you guessed it, I just blew it, New Year's Eve. Yep. How David Lee Roth of him to be performing on New Year's Eve in Vegas. It just makes sense. It really, I mean, that just makes sense. Now, in January of last year, Dave did a residency at the House of Blues, and the singing was not classified as good. It just wasn't. But Dave is such a happy fella and was up there singing and having himself a good old time. But some fans were loving it. Some fans were not so much loving how Diamond Dave was sounding, and they were angry. But the happy fans were really happy with just the fact that David Lee Roth was standing before them performing. Now, after that residency, it was announced that he would be opening for Kiss, which really did surprise me because, of course, there were more negative reviews about Dave on his solo tour than positive ones. So I did find it interesting that Kiss chose him to open for them, but they did, and Dave did, and he was actually sounding decent when he was on the road with Kiss before the whole world shut down and concerts completely stopped. So it was interesting to definitely see that shift. And Kiss, went back on the road again. Concerts have, of course, begun, and Gene Simmons came out and announced that David Lee Roth was no longer going to be the opener for them. Instead, they hired rock painter David Garibaldi. And that I thought was odd. It was strange. You're at a Kiss show. I'm sure David Garibaldi is amazing and an amazing artist, or else Kiss would not have him there. And let's face it, Paul Stanley is an artist. I guess Gene Simmons is an artist as well. So they're not going to hire some non-good artist, right? They're going to hire somebody who's really interesting, good. But watching a painter before a rock show, interesting. Mm-hmm. Now, when Gene announced that Diamond Dave was out and Painter Dave was in, Gene softened the blow at first by saying, nobody did what Dave did. Then Gene went on to say, and then I don't know what happened to him. Something. Gene also compared Dave to Elvis, saying that Gene wants to remember Elvis the way he was, i.e., he wants to remember David Lee Roth the way he was. And he said some very not nice things about Elvis. And I'm just not going to say them, but it was not good what Gene said and how he compared Dave to Elvis. It was not nice, just wasn't. And that's, this whole story was just kind of surprising because I'm like, okay, you have him on tour with you and then you come out and bash him. Okay, so if he's not going to finish the end of the road tour with you, you're bashing him. Why? Again, David has got his own things going on, but I just didn't understand that. Now, Dave did respond to Gene's words, however, by posting a kid in sunglasses, sticking out his tongue and sticking up his middle finger. Not once, but Dave reposted the same picture of that kid 18 times on his social media. And the caption read, Roth to Simmons. So in other words, he's big and, given the big you-know-what to Gene. David is okay, though, after all of this drama. He will be in Vegas starting on New Year's Eve, and I'm sure David Lee Roth will sell a bunch of tickets. And I think, before I move on to the next thing, I think Gene did apologize, but I don't know. Just as like a normal human being contact thing. Kind of late because you put all that other nonsense out. So I don't know. I don't know where Dave and Jean's relationship stands at this moment. Do you know? Because I don't know. So guys, let's just take a scenario here. Now it's scenario time. You're staying in a hotel and then you hear someone singing in the distance as you're making your way to the pool area or perhaps the bar, or maybe you're even going to leave your hotel to go do something, because that's what you do when you stay in a hotel. You're on vacation and, you know, you're doing things. Then as you walk towards the double doors, the singing gets louder and louder, and it's as if angels are all around you as the singing gets louder. And why does the sound of angels around you get louder? Because you realize Bret Michaels is singing in the lobby of your hotel. What? What? Can't. I just cannot even imagine, but I can. Hold on. My Bretty. Yes, I do call him my Bretty. He's everyone's Bretty, but I do like to call him mine. He played in the lobby of the Hard Rock Hotel at Universal. And I know this lobby because I stayed there once, and it was actually when Steve Augeri was performing. I was there with my husband and the kids, and we were going to see Steve Augeri perform. We were right there. We actually walked by him unknowingly. Isn't that funny? It's so funny how things happen. And my daughter was causing a lot of drama that evening. She was at the pool all afternoon. Sorry, Kat, but she had some interesting beverages. So she was really, it was just not a good night in that respect. So we didn't see Steve Augeri. We got as far away from there as we could actually. It was meltdown time. Anyway, so the Hard Rock at Universal, they have these shows and they call them the Velvet Sessions, okay? And I did get my notification about Bret. I don't know, it was a very short time ago, and I wanted to go. And I said to Al, I want to go. And as I'm clicking to go, and I'm seeing the tickets, there were some really great tickets available because I got the notification. I went right on. He's like, you're not going. You're not going to see Bret Michaels in Orlando. You can't do that. And I'm like, why can I not do that? You're not going to do it. So I didn't. And now I'm really sad because the show looked amazing. Of course, I mean, Bret is, let's talk about Bret Michaels for a second. His shows and his performances, I have to tell you, he is the most energetic and best solo performer out there right now when he goes out with himself. Well, he has his band. He doesn't go out by himself. He can't do that alone. It's a lot to do. Bret is, first of all, he's got a great voice. He looks awesome. Even though he was talking about in one of the videos on YouTube, he's like, oh yeah, I've packed on some pounds, you know, during this lockdown. I'm like, no, you didn't. Look at you. You did not gain any pounds. He looks great. He moves around. He is so interactive with the crowd, and he makes you feel like you're his best friend. And I love that about my Bretty. I mean, he's just so nice to everybody. And that's how you should be, right? You should be kind to everyone. And he makes you feel like you're a part of his performance. So he did great. And the fact that he performed in this little tiny area at the Hard Rock in Orlando at Universal Studios, I should have gone. I shouldn't have listened. I should have just walked out the door one morning and said, I'll be back in 3 days. I have to go see my Bretty. But I didn't. And I'm sure Bret is now just gearing up. He's doing these smaller shows to get back into practice for the stadium tour, which is literally just around the corner. It's in June of next year. Kind of thinking, you know, I'm going to be honest. A few weeks ago, I said, I don't know. How is this stadium tour going to work out? I think it's going to work out now. Just with the buzz on the street, with the different things we are hearing here and there, I think it's going to be fine. So everybody's trying to get into full gear. Vince Neil, he's looking pretty good too. I'm definitely noticing a change. You know, the voice, whatever, but he's having fun being on stage. I think I saw something of him performing. Maybe it was last weekend. Again, the singing, whatever. He is the face of Motley Crue. So it looks like he's doing what he needs to do. So good for you, Vince. And I think the stadium tour is going to be a go. I really do. So yeah, Bret Michaels was there. I would have loved to have been there, but I wasn't. Next time, I won't listen. Or maybe I would. No, I'm just kidding. I can't do that. I can't just like take my suitcase and go. Well, I could, but I'm not going to. Too much responsibility. Yeah, Bret Michaels. All right, I shall stop now. I would just like to say our friend Kalaya from Australia, she reached out this morning on the video I did yesterday. And I have to say, Kel, we are thinking about you. Lots of love and strength. I've said this before to all you and all of our friends in Australia. We are thinking about you. Stay strong. You know, lots of love to each and every one of you. Guys, I hope you enjoyed today's Classic Rock News. I told you there was a lot. I warned you before we went forward. So remember to go ahead with your day. Be kind to everyone. Be strong. Turn up Bret Michaels. Turn up any Poison song today because it will just make your day really, really good. And always remember, most importantly, at the end of the day, always keep rocking. Have a fabulous Tuesday, guys. See you tomorrow. You have a great day too, Mark and Peter, and whoever else is here. See ya.